Okay, thanks, Ryan, for recording.
Yes.
Okay, let's go ahead and get started if you don't mind. Just because I know time's precious, we're over lunch and we have probably a lot to talk about. So welcome back, Rianne. Rianne's been gone for 2 weeks on
Yeah.
personal leave, so we have her back. And she's having me facilitate this meeting. So that's different because she's like the social butterfly that's everywhere. Um, so I know she'll pop in. She does not stop
Yes.
herself, which is what we want. So, but before we get started, just welcome everybody. And before we dive into our agenda, I just wanted to take a moment to acknowledge the devastating storms that impacted Western and Northern communities of Alaska. I think when you see the news over the past week, and we've had past storms as well, this has just been unimaginable loss for families in those communities. We've lost communities. So I just want us to think about where we're at with how we're interconnected, how we use our partnership, how we collaborate, and just even in Alaska, how we're interconnected. You know, our work is with the land, the weather, and each other, and it all kind of comes roundabout, like we talked about at the retreat. So I just wanted to bring that up because if you or anybody knows someone that's in need, that we have a couple of different resources at the state that have reached out to me because they know I facilitate these meetings, and they can help with some resources, some funding. You know, right now I know we have communities that don't know even what they need because they're not back in doing things. But just if you hear everybody, just point them my way and I can give them those resource contacts. A lot of it's in early childhood and infant early childhood mental health. So,
Hey Bailey,
and
how are you guys doing?
yeah,
We're good. It wasn't as bad as last year's for us. It was just mostly the Yukon Delta area. Yeah, it's good.
all good. Do you guys have any cleanup or is it just you had just the rush of water?
No,
With
the
the
water
tides?
came up pretty high. It was pretty bad for some people. But it got up to our stairs here.
Wow.
So
Nice.
there's just lots of litter around town.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
We've all
Well,
been
if you
thinking
know,
about you. Lots of messages. How are
Thank
Bailey and
you.
Tracy? Yeah.
Rita will join the meeting at 1 also.
Okay,
She's on
great.
lunch right now.
Shannon, I just wanted to add,
Erica.
I know that there's a lot of people, that have been that are in Anchorage right now, and I don't know how they're going to do the schooling, but from what I'd heard is they're going to try to integrate them in the Anchorage school district. So I think not only like support for the communities, but like you said, they don't really know what the next step is, but also support for the communities that are taking on the additional children, students. So and I don't know how we can be helpful, but I think that's just something to consider as well, because I think there's going to be an influx of enrollment
Sure.
there.
I think you brought
Yeah.
up a good point, Veronica, on that. I at least the state resources, the state that has reached out to me, you know, it's just like any type of early childhood funding, any type of infant early childhood infant mental health. So I'll, you know, when I reach back out to them, I'll let them know, and which they should know that already. We've seen it in the news, but I think we forget about that it's impacting the communities of Fairbanks, Bethel, Anchorage, and some of the other local hub communities. That if we can resource, even if it's funding out to help with an influx of students or resources, you know, that we could possibly do that. So thank you for bringing that up.
Not to put Amy on the spot, but being in Anchorage and being with PIC, have you guys created a plan or heard anything about like new referrals coming into your area? Shannon and I were just talking about this beforehand as well. So with everybody coming here to our community of Anchorage, wasn't sure if you had you and your team had any impact yet.
Well, we certainly reached out to the YK area and told them that if they have any families that have been displaced in the region that are already enrolled in early intervention, that we would be happy to pick up those reins. We've also shared and ask them to share that we have a diaper pantry if families are in need of diapers, that we can certainly help them out there. And even though our diaper pantry isn't open all the time, it's only open 2 Wednesday afternoons a month, but that we would make special arrangements for these families coming in from Bethel if they need diapers or anything like that. So yeah, I think
Awesome.
right now, just nobody quite knows where everybody is. And so
Yeah.
I'm hopeful that within the next 2 weeks that that we can kind of track down. I mean, it sounds like many of the families who were transferred to other regions, what I've heard is that they're likely to be here for 18 months, which is, I can't even imagine how, I mean, I don't think there's any good time of year for a natural disaster, but this time of year in Alaska sets everything back like a year, right? Because, you know, you miss the repair window, like,
Yeah.
and so yeah, I'm with everyone, just say I can't
Yeah.
even imagine what they're
One of the
going.
big problems too is that all the fish camps have been decimated, so they don't even have a place to go to do their subsistence stuff next summer.
Yeah.
So it's going to be an ongoing thing. I got an email that is asking for volunteers to do meals at the Alaska Center. I can forward that off if anybody's
Yeah.
interested.
Yeah, if you can send that, Annie, we can put it on the Padlet. If you want to send it to, you can just see the list that I sent out earlier today. Just send it to
Okay.
all of us and then we'll put it on Padlet too. I
Okay.
know in terms of like donations and supplies, you know, it's been pretty incredible to see. I feel like, you know, it's a little late, but down lower 48, even people are like, we're sending, you know, a jet full
Yeah.
of winter clothes to, you know, to Anchorage for the victims of the typhoon and to Bethel, and so that people are able to get some winter gear and supplies. But now I was just telling Shannon, you know, thinking about the communities where we're like here in Anchorage, we have 2,000 more people, which, you know, we're working around, and thank goodness for places like South Central Foundation taking on the facilitation of housing right now and figuring that all out. But as Amy said, we got to think about like our goods, as in diapers and formula and food and, you know, the
Yeah.
economy in general down here. So I think, you know, this is as I say before all partnership meetings, as we talked about, we're creative and we support our own. And how fast people said we need donations, and then like 2 hours later they said no more, we can't take anymore,
Right.
because people just like, you know, went out and bought out every pair of snow pants at all the Costco's and diapers and everything. So Amy, if you all decide, or what, however we can help and, you know, support for diaper bank stuff, like let us know. I know for us in ECN who are local, you know, that's something we can
And
participate in.
you know, something that I was curious about. So, I mean, I can't believe all these people staying at the Egan Center and the Alaska
Yeah.
Center, that I was going to give people a couple of days to get settled in and then try to reach out to see if, you know, maybe there was a need to do like little, like preschool play
Support
group, you know,
groups, yeah.
something
Great idea.
normalizing, you know, and fun.
Yeah.
They probably
And
will. A couple days ago, they were asking for like books and board games and stuff for all those kids. I don't know that if they probably got a million board games right after they sent that out. But
you know,
we also have
yeah.
2 families so far that have relocated out here, so we're doing our
Oh, yeah.
best to make sure they've got everything they need. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And let us
Yeah,
know
I'll
too,
keep you
Amy,
posted
if
there's
I was gonna
there's
just
an
say if you,
opportunity for us all to come together and do something
right,
Yeah.
that's
fun
what I'm
with the
thinking
little
too.
ones. That'd be great.
Yeah. So, and also if you need volunteers, Amy, for the diaper bank, if you need to open an extra day or need, just let us know. And I'm here, I would volunteer.
Same.
Um,
Yeah.
And then of course, if you can get something going, or maybe as a group, you know, we could reach out to, because I think the Anchorage Childhood Coalition, I know Amy Collins has something with the new thing coming in with the municipality with childcare, or what is the new office? The new childcare office or whatever it is. I know that It just
I
came
think
up,
she's
the
on
job.
some
did.
advisory board.
Yeah.
We have a board member that is part of the La France administration.
Right,
And
there
so I
you go.
thought I'd reach out to her to see
Reach
if
out.
there's
That's what I'm
any
thinking.
need
Yeah.
for something a little bit structured in those places that maybe we could help out, give
Yeah,
parents a
definitely.
little bit of a respite from all of that for
Yeah.
an hour.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
Let us all know because we can
Okay.
put the word out and we can
That'd be
be
great.
there in an instant. Yeah.
I think it is going to be really tough for those kids because a village school is I can't even begin to tell you how different a village school is than an Anchorage school.
Yeah, I can't imagine going from
So,
village school to
I just think the schools are going to need extra mentor help or,
Yeah.
counseling help. I can't imagine how that's going to go. So I just have to see, but they're going to need some help.
Yeah. They are. Like I said, Department of Behavioral Health reached out to me. They don't do direct service, but they have some funding.
Mm.
And so, that, maybe we need to, I don't know what we need, but that's just it. So we have resources that are willing to help. We just need to know how and when to use them. So yeah, I thank you. I just want to make sure we brought that up because it's been impacting the state and will continue to impact.
It will continue. I'm kind of hoping that we see more. We know of 2 families that have come to our area because our area is very similar to that area. So we may see some more families that come into our area that we can help locally.
Yeah. And the same with Eugenie and the areas, not just Anchorage. I know there's some families in Fairbanks. There was some that went to Kodiak,
Yes,
some Kenai.
yes.
Let us know if there's anything that, your area would need. So for those
And my
families.
daughter lives in Bethel. You can imagine how Bethel has been impacted by all this. So.
Yeah. So we'll keep them in our thoughts and prayers and just, we're here if they need us. So, okay. Thanks everyone. I wanted to do that before we got into the agenda and stuff, just because then this takes so much time. We have 20 of us minus you and I, so 18. If we want to do, there's not a big group, but it's big enough. We want to do names, community, just kind of a little icebreaker, Halloween candy, or what you like for Halloween. We can just, if you want to put it in chat, you can. If you don't want to say it out loud. Other than that, let's just popcorn around the room really quick. And let's start with, how about you, Jeannie? Do you want to start?
Who did you say to start?
Jeannie?
Oh, I'm sorry. I
okay.
got muted. I got muted again. Okay. I'm from Dillingham, and my favorite Halloween candy is, of course, Snickers bars. Of course.
Yum. Do you want to popcorn it to someone else, Jeannie?
Yeah, Amy.
Hi, I'm Amy. I'm in Anchorage with Programs for Infants and Children, and my favorite Halloween candy is Reese's Peanut Butter Cups.
You're on mute, Amy.
Shoot it to Anne. How does that sound?
There you go.
I'm Annie Shade. I'm also from Dillingham, Bristol Bay, and I'm a sucker for $100,000 bars, except for I think they're 100 grands now. Let's see. How about Veronica?
Sorry, I was trying to find the unmute. I'm Veronica from Nome, and I like Sour Patch Kids. And then I'll give it to Abby.
Hi everyone, Abby here on the Kenai Peninsula, and I would say probably like something Reese's, anything with peanut butter, basically. That's my favorite, and I will pass it over to Nikki.
Thanks, Abby. Hi, this is Nikki in Juneau, and I'm with the Southeast Childhood Collective, recently renamed. We used to be AEYC, and I can't say it's my favorite, but I do look forward to them every year, and I make a point of getting them. And those are oh my gosh, what are they called? The little corn, the little candy corns.
Yeah.
And then eat them by a layer. So there we go. And I will pick on Neve.
I'm Neve Jardis, and I'm the director of the Reach Infant Learning Program, also in Juneau, and serving kind of all of northern southeast. And I would say it's kind of boring, but I'm very partial to a Twix. And I will go to Lisa.
Hey everyone, I'm Lisa and I'm in Sitka. I'm with the early learning program here. My favorite chocolate is the Reese's peanut butter cup, but for the hard candy, I really like the green apple suckers with the caramel on the outside. I'll pick, is it Joan?
Hi, I'm Joan from Girdwood, and my favorite Halloween candy is anything chocolate. It has to be chocolate. How about Bailey?
Hi, I'm Bailey. I'm in Kotzebue. My favorite Halloween candy is Snickers. And I'll pick Bobby Joe.
Hi, I'm Bobby Joe. I'm from, I live in Talkeetna, but I represent the Child Care Program Office, so statewide. And I think my favorite Halloween candy is a tie between Twix and Kit Kats. And let's see. I will pick on Izzy.
Hi, I'm Izzy. I'm also with Southeast Childhood Collective in Juneau, and I would have to say Sour Patch Kids. And has Melanie gone yet?
Hi, good morning. I haven't gone yet. So I'm Melanie Smith. I'm the Bloom coordinator in Seward at Seward Prevention Coalition. My favorite Halloween candy is definitely Reese's peanut butter cups, and a close second is Almond Joy.
Do you want to pick someone else to go, Melanie? You muted.
How about Akasha Moulton?
Perfect. And she just said she's on the bus right now, so she can't talk. So I'm gonna throw over to Crystal.
Hi, Crystal Hoke from Girdwood. My favorite Halloween candy, I'm a Twix girl. And how about, has Veronica gone yet? Maybe she already has. I'm trying to figure out who hasn't gone yet.
I don't think Suriani has gone yet,
Okay, Siriani.
if she's there.
Or Nicholas. I don't think Nicholas has gone either.
Oh, okay.
I have it.
Her
It
favorite
looks like
candy.
it looks like Suryani said in the chat. Suryani from Unalaska. Sorry, I have no audio. Favorite candy, Kit Kat. But also this is Nicholas from Matsu with Hello Baby. And my favorite is definitely Reese's, especially at Halloween when they do like the pumpkins, the little pumpkin ones. Yeah, those are better than the regular ones. And I can send it over to Colleen.
Hi everyone. I'm sorry I have to cut out early, but Colleen Andrews, I am with Rock Matsu representing the Matsu Valley. I'm a peanut butter girl, so anything with peanut butter in it, but it's a really close tie between peanut butter and candy corn.
Did everyone go or have a chance of going?
Shannon, what is your favorite Halloween candy?
Oh gosh, I have to go with the candy corn because I love what she says. I do that with little gummy bears, and I rip the head off first, or cinnamon bears, and then just go from there. So layering it. So, how about you, Rianne?
I would say the same. Candy corn, which is the most divisive Halloween candy. People have very strong feelings, either pro or con. And also the Reese's holiday shapes, like the Reese's eggs when people ask if I like, do you eat morning eggs? I'm like, if they are Reese's, sign me up. So yeah, those are my favorite Halloween candies. And I also love giving them out. If I had enough kids who would come to my neighborhood, I would be a king size house, but nobody comes to my house, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, thanks everyone for putting up with our fun today. We have to do something. I guess if we were meeting in person, we could have a lot more fun by actually eating the candy, and we just can't do that right now. So, oh well. Anyway, to go over the agenda, we have it off to the side. It's really just a follow-up of the retreat and then some ideas that came out of the retreat going forward. I know for some, it was a long 2 days. I've heard from different people, it was really, the discussion was really good. We just did not get to where we thought we'd be, and that makes sense. I mean, I think after the 2 days and looking at goals and all of that, where we ended up is probably where we should end up because of where we're at with the discussion. So it's really just ECN retreat recap, reflection, strategic priority check-in, upcoming events and opportunities, and just open discussion. That's the best part about the network. So we'll just go from there. Any questions on the agenda? Okay. So community updates, we kind of divvied it out because I know we always get like, what is an affiliate? What should we be, talking about? So for ECN members, just what is your local success or celebration in your community or region? And I don't know if you've had any since the retreat. So this is just since the retreat. If you don't have any, you don't have to say anything. If you don't want to talk, again, you can put it into chat. What is a challenge that your community has experienced with the early childhood sector? What upcoming events is your coalition or your collaborative or community planning for children, youth, and families? And share someone new that you've met that has had a positive impact on your personal, professional work life. That all has to do with that collaboration part and partnering part that we were talking about during the retreat. So those 4 prompts are for ECN members. ECN affiliates, what is your success story you saw emerge from a region or community that you provided technical assistance or support to? If you have, you may not have since the retreat. Or even, I guess, we don't talk enough about that, even something maybe that you have a success story even before the retreat. What resources have you been sharing with communities to navigate current challenges? What upcoming events is your agency planning or participating in? And share someone new that you've met that has had a positive impact on your personal or professional work life. So if you think about this, ECN members and affiliate members, what is a local success or celebration in your community within the last month that you've had?
Should we do breakout room, Shannon, or do we just want to open discuss?
I don't know. Let's do breakout rooms because that might, because we have a lot of prompts here. So let's do breakout rooms.
Okay, cool. So I'm gonna go ahead and create those, and then so you'll get a prompt to go ahead and join one. Should we do about 20 minutes, Sharon? Then we give people about 5 minutes to talk. Yeah, excellent. So I'll go ahead and create those and then have you all join. So we'll see y'all in about 20 minutes.
Rianne, do you want to put the questions or the prompts in the chat?
I certainly will.
Thank you.
Oh, that's us. Okay.
Yeah, 20 minutes.
Welcome back. All right. Is everybody here? Hooray! We didn't leave anybody behind. Great. Does anybody have a little highlight that they wanted to share? We got a couple minutes, a highlight to share from their group conversations.
I'll chime in, kind of a personal ask as well. I'm curious, I just spoke to Nikki in our group. Nikki shared that they did a project in her area around like contracting with the individual that could help new programs through the licensing process. So kind of like that in between. So like the provider and CCPO, like someone in between that could kind of coach them along the way. And that's something that we're really talking about here locally, to find a local expert that could step into that. And so I'm just curious if anyone's done that. I would love to know and would maybe reach out via email just to see how you did that in your community. So just wanted to put that out there.
Love that. It's a great ask. And Nikki, way to use your local resources, girl. Good way, because that's always the holdup. And so great work. That's very creative and supportive to somebody who knows the system, right? Like, let's pay you to be the expert and help people get along the way. So that's incredible. Great work. Anybody else have a highlight?
We were just talking about the Children's Museum and you know, really that a lot of us has been thinking about like how do we, and you know, in Anchorage, I've reached out to the Children's Museum here on how do we put together little preschool play groups but in Nome and Seward and you know, just you know, how to integrate, you know, some of those arts into our outreach with families because it's calming and mindful and all that. So
yeah. I agree with that, Amy. I even just not participating in the conversation, I kept thinking about that while I was gone, in how incredible it is that Meredith said, you want us to come to your community? We'll come. We'll lead an activity. We've got some really cool things going on. I was like, wow, like the ability to travel and like lead something with that, but also like what can we do locally too to lead something like that, like focused on the arts or focused on calming activities, things that we can do and use with the materials that we have in our own homes, right? Our own recyclable materials. I think I loved Izzy's presentation last year at the Juneau conference with using the recyclable materials to make fairy houses. And it was a hit from what I've heard. I wasn't there, but they're like, people were lined up out the door to go do that. So using your creative energies to like create opportunities for kids and families to engage. And I love that the museums and communities are able to offer those. So thank you. All right, last one. Anybody else? Any other highlights?
Hey, so
All right.
Veronica, I was in the same group, but she shared about doing something with pumpkins, and you guys, like, my brain is, I don't know, maybe I'm still transitioning from like summer to fall. I was like, oh, that's such a great idea. Like, so I'm thinking I'm gonna do that for my play group.
Oh, love it.
Yeah, get some pumpkins, either have them paint them or carve them. And it's funny, I love art, but for some reason I've never liked, I think I grew up with a mom that didn't like mesh. And I even have a minor in art. And I'm like, so I was thinking about it. I'm like, we'll be okay. We'll be okay. Maybe I won't take out all the toys if they carve. I mean, I'm thinking like sticky hands. So I was like, okay, I could do this. But I think the families would love it. Like you're saying, it's like lined up the door. I mean, you like plan something in our small communities, and everyone's looking for things to do. So thanks for the idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. I like so many great things about pumpkins in general, right? For young kids, especially the sensory pieces, the way it smells, the way it looks, how heavy they are. And the heirloom pumpkins are different colors and textures. But then also when you cut into a pumpkin and have them put their hands in the bush, it's like that like sensory feeling. Like some kids like, no, thank you, not for me. And others are like, this is what I've been waiting to feel my whole life, right? Like it is, we carved pumpkins at my brother's house in Wisconsin, and my son, so I had my daughter, Malahia, who will be 6 at the end of this month, my son, Kamana, who's 2, and my nephew, Ari, who just turned 3. And all 3 of them had very different responses. Like Malahia like touched it and she's like, wow, this is super duper cool. I love feeling this. Ari like put his hand in and immediately gagged. Kaimana was just like, oh, just like backed away, like hands up, like I'm not even gonna touch this thing. All of them different reactions instantly. And it was just the best to like watch all of their pieces. So if you decide to do something like this, like share your reactions. I can't wait to see what those little ones do.
That I love that, and maybe even like kind of like mention that to the participants, like, okay, notice your
Yeah.
reaction and like the sensory, and yeah, like how does it feel, or yeah, that's so funny.
Yeah.
I think people do react differently, don't they, depending on
So funny.
yeah.
Yeah.
I can literally
Fun to
smell
do an
it.
Instagram thing and have families, you know, record their kids touching pumpkin
Yeah.
goo.
Yeah. The pumpkin guts. How do you react?
Yeah.
It's like the Jimmy Kimmel, like the I ate all your Halloween candy, like make a reel like that of like I had my kid touch the pumpkin guts for the first time.
Funny. It's so funny.
Yeah. I just have to say, just thinking about these updates and celebrations, just from the retreat, Melanie, and I think a couple of others did it too, but it was your walk and chat or your whatever chats you do, coffee with chat, whatever. I happened to be at the home visiting Echo, and was on father engagement. And this was one that was brought up that we talked about, like a scan chat for dads or a walk-in chat for dads or a stroll-in chat. And I put your name out there just to let them know where it came from. But they were so excited about getting more fathers involved by doing something like this, or even, using food. Food always seems to bring dads in, but
Yeah.
so thanks for that. It just made me think of it. I really grabbed that from the last meeting that we had and stole it and ran with it. So it'll be
you're
shared.
welcome. Yeah, I'm so happy you shared it. Yeah, I just love that. If I get the word out, I mean, I thought about it too. Really, I mean, I'll get sometimes like 5 dads, especially if it's on a Saturday. I don't do it very often, but a day off. But they'll come on their lunch breaks and they'll have a little date with their family.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. Yeah, everyone likes free coffee or pastries, and then some of them will just buy lunch with their own money to kind of supplement. But yeah, it's getting them together, and it is great. So I'm happy you're sharing the idea and getting
So
over
thank you.
that.
Yeah.
I have
Anybody?
something that I forgot to say when we were in the breakout groups. The Girdwood PTA is going to be having their Halloween carnival, something they haven't had in a few years because of COVID. And then, they tried some other stuff, but now it's back. And I always used to do this and I volunteered to do it again. And it's monster goo. It's oobleck. You do cornstarch and water and the kids put their hands in it and they just, have fun with it. And so I have a monster goo table that I actually have 2. I think I'm going to set up 2 of them. And we're going to be doing that at the Halloween Carnival. Very good sensory stuff to do with that, Anyway,
Always fun.
He's back.
Always fun.
Yeah.
Anybody else? Are you ready to go on? Okay, just remember we have Padlet. So if there's anything you want to share, Padlet is always available. So, okay. So some of the retreat recap and reflections that we've talked about, or that were talked about over those long 2 days, which I hope everyone enjoyed, even though it was long 2 days. But a summary of key takeaways, and I can just kind of come up with some to get your brain running. I know the big one for me was clarifying, and I don't know that we did, and that's why I'm bringing this up, clarifying who we are and why we exist as a network. That was one that I'm like, did we do that? I know what it is. We say we're going to elevate early childhood, or the voice of early childhood in Alaska. But did we clarify really who we are? We really didn't do that elevator speech that we wanted. We had so many other great things that we were talking about. So that's just one I thought of. And I could go in, but just, does anybody have any key takeaways from those 2 days? Whether, this was great, we did this, we need to work harder on this. That light bulb went off and the aha jar, note went in. So.
Well,
I
this
think,
is
sorry.
Amy. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay. So I think what I took away was there's a lot of information out there that has been put in regards to advocacy. that I have to admit I just haven't looked through it. So I think it was just kind of an awakening for me to revisit that and know that, there is information out there. People have taken the time to put it together. So what's my role in disseminating that information?
I agree, Veronica. I think I even learned that. And so what I thought about this week, at least, is pulling some of that stuff we talked about. I was in the back table with Amy Simpson and Abby and all of them. Some of those economic researched documents that we found or that are out there. I thought I would try and go ahead and put the most recent ones that we could find up on the Padlet. So if you ever want to read, you can read for your own enjoyment. But, that's something, trying to keep up all of that as well for us as a network. So, Amy?
Well, I guess I was just so impressed with many of the projects of the network and just the beauty of a smaller community where you can really get everybody around the table and focus on the right elevation of this encompasses everybody. I think it's harder in Anchorage with a larger community. It's just so difficult to get everybody on the same page. But I really enjoyed hearing from like the Kenai Peninsula that that group that and the work that they're doing that crosses so many different organizations and really encompasses the community as a whole. The work in Seward and the hard work of you know the or the I don't know, the effortless, it seems effortless of having coffee with kids and family. I mean, I know the effort that it takes to put all that stuff together, but really a lovely way to engage the community across many different levels and uh and yeah, it really kind of, and as this disaster has unfolded in Western Alaska and all these families have been relocated in the Anchorage area, like how can we kind of hold that community together a little bit, especially the little ones and support them, that's but I learned so much from these other communities and how well they have mobilized together. So thank you all.
Thanks, Amy. That's why we love this network. I mean, I think that's why the majority of us are here, is for that reason. It's the passion, the friendship, the partnership, all of it, hand in hand. Anyone else? I don't know, Rihanna, if you have anything, but the other thing I was thinking about that it just like, this is so nice, is especially after the 2-day retreat, was we got together and we did regional mapping, and I love that process just because it really gave me I always say that the bird's eye view of what's happening in each region, or where those gaps are, overlaps of service, or just really the whole early childhood system. I know we're probably missing some. There may be some that that are there. We just, just didn't label, didn't put up on our little notes. But I think for me in the job I do at the state, brought up like, oh, I really see where there is overlapping, or where we could partner more, or just services that I think Amy and I've discussed it in the past that aren't there that we could possibly get there. We just have to figure out how we get it there, whether it's partnering with an IOP program or a clinic or something like that to get it there. Like I said, I've been involved in a couple other meetings this week from around the state, and I just said, and Bobby Joe was at one of them, and we were talking about the ECN retreat and the presentations and what communities were doing and where they were going, thinking about taxes and just thinking outside the box, really. And we have an evaluator that we contract with. And if Bobby Joe's on here, she could even say it too, or, it was so fun to say what was going right in early childhood because of all of you and all of the communities, and the scope of early childhood services that are happening. And to be able to share that with someone who is like, really, that's really happening. They're doing that. Was just kind of a neat moment. I think it could be good and bad, right? If we say too much, we might not get the funding, but we want to say enough to show also what's happening out there. I don't know, Bobby Joe, if you had any more insight to that.
Yeah, I think I was just reflecting on that meeting too, and how not only just the projects that we were talking about, but just the way that you all are thinking about early childhood. Like we talked about the idea of, children as a natural resource, and we talked about all of these things, and just to hear from the contractors' perspective too about how it's just innovative, and they very impressive. And again, like Shannon said, we're happy to share the ups, but we don't want to make it sound like it's easy because there's still tons of need out there, as you guys know. So
thanks, Bobby Joe. Anything else?
Well, I wasn't at the retreat physically, but from my coworker, I just got really good report that it was great to connect with others and get some ideas about our community baby shower, since this is the first time Sitka is ever hosting one. And so this is all new territory for us. And she said, oh yeah, I talked with this person and got some great ideas. So we're going to use some of the ideas that she came back with.
Yeah, she was lovely, Lisa. We loved her.
Good.
Yeah, I was just going to add to that, her fresh perspective and just like willingness to jump in and participate, and just like such a great person to have at the retreat. So we missed you, Lisa, but she was also she was also an incredible person to have filled in. There's a lot of great things happening in your community, and she represented well. So it was really great to hear all the great things happening in Sitka.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
So then I'm just thinking, because I think the whole goal of this, like I said, the whole goal of the 2-day retreat was to get goals, and which really didn't happen. But I have to admit, I think Bobby Joe and I talked about this too. It was really, really good discussion. And I think it's where we needed to go in the time and place. And I appreciated, and I think Bobby Joe said this, I appreciated all different aspects and views of everybody that spoke, because it made us either slow down or look somewhere else. And that's kind of the whole idea of the network, is hear everyone's voice and use their strengths. And that's what we did. And so just thank you for that, because I think we came away with a lot of different ideas on where to go next and where we need to be pushing all our efforts. Maybe it's not just 1 or 2 goals, or those foundational goals. Maybe it is, but that's what we're working towards. So I don't know if anybody else felt the same way or if it was just me, but I just appreciated everyone's input. So thank you on that one.
Yeah, I was going to add to this one too. One of the wonderful things about the retreats in general is we're together in person. And so creating just natural opportunities to connect and converse and get to know one another and learn about our funny quirks about being humans, or the things that we like or don't like. Like I saw Annie Shade going for those gummy Jolly Ranchers, and now we know whenever we are in person, gotta have gummy Jolly Ranchers for Annie Shade. So like the different things that we learn from one another just being in person, and sometimes we have to have those challenging conversations, and it is important to learn about the differences in each of our communities and our regions that make our state so incredible and also so different, which is why I really kept hanging on to what Abby had said, and that like maybe goals, like 1 or 2 goals isn't what we need. Instead, it's like objectives. Like, what are our things that we're working towards? Or, and, we can continue to have this conversation, but I really loved kind of that reflective piece from our goal activity of, maybe we think, based on who our communities are looking to support and how we do that work, that we look at objectives instead of goals. So I really loved the reflection from that activity, but then also, man, that the activity that we did at the end of the last day, is that the seasonal wheel one, Shannon? Yeah. That we started Tuesday with. That one was like just like really jazzed me up, like listening to all the name dropping and the people that we can connect with. And we have Mariah took some really great notes. And so now that I'm back, I'm like, ooh, we can start following up on some of those ideas and the people in those sessions for as we move forward and as we start getting into some of our civic duty and advocacy pieces. And so I feel like there's like really great progress and understanding made over those 2 days of being together, which I was very impressed and grateful for. And I'm just so thankful that everyone kind of hung in there. And it was a lot of work in 2 days, but we did some really great stuff together.
Speaking of, so this is just a discussion because we've talked about at meetings and during the retreat about, do we want to do work groups? We have, these different areas we've talked about that came out of interviews and the evaluation that Stellar did. And we've just kind of, I don't know, just skimmed the surface with it. And I don't know, do we want to do work groups? And if we did, why do we want to do work groups? And so, because it does take time away. It's, you probably have to meet once a month, maybe. I'm not sure. It depends on the topic area. I don't know. Just this is a discussion. These were the areas that we had come up with. And do we want to do work groups? Work groups, when I think of work groups, for me, it's kind of, you have those different diverse voices, that can really make a work group strong. You have collaboration. We have a lot of silos in this state. So I think, it's building those bridges. And sometimes I think a smaller group is easier for people to talk in. So I don't know, maybe someone they just really want workforce development. So.
Yeah. I think that this is also just something we can continue percolating on too, as we go into like wrapping up this year, which is crazy that 2025 is already wrapping up. Like, we're at the end of October already. It is nuts that we're here. But we are, time keeps marching on. And with that comes new initiatives and ideas and protecting of funding and things that come onto our plate. And so I think like knowing that we have Shannon and I and others in the ECN are wanting to do something like work groups, we can work on organizing this for everybody in terms of making spaces available to have a work group, right? Like maybe each month we can dedicate, this month we're going to talk about policy and advocacy, we're going to talk about family engagement. And so those who are looking for support around those things can join in on that. But it's not like a requirement. So we'll be following up, Shannon and I will, with like ideas on how to facilitate that and the interest level. So expect a Google survey sometime soon from yours truly about how you want this. If you want to participate, and we love your honest feedback. Obviously, we're not going to blast if you're not interested in all of this. There's no qualms. But how we can continue moving forward with some of these work groups. I think that there is some interest in being able to have some dedicated connection time, but also time is so important, and we totally understand that. So stay tuned for more on this. We heard loud and clear over the last from summer interviews, but then also the retreat, that there's some interest in having dedicated time for connection on these specific areas and others. Yeah.
So just a strategic priorities check-in since, what was it, a month ago? I guess it was the end of September that we met. we always have priorities. You know, we have, and I know things have shifted, of course, because of the West Coast storms. But thinking about any shifts in priorities or emergent needs that we need to talk about that are different from what we've been talking about, what has changed? Is there anything calling to attention now? I think the big one, and Rihanna and I were just talking about this when you were in breakout groups, was how can the ECN help with the West Coast storms? Can we take some of our ECN money that we have and purchase things that can go to the different communities that are housing, like whether it's books, diapers, whatever. That's something that we were just discussing. So that's what's calling to our attention right now. Maybe some cross-sector collaboration, partnering with different tribal health clinics, library, home visiting programs. I don't know. This is just a check-in to see where we're at right now. That, you know, we're through September, we're October going into midwinter here coming up. And, you know, maybe we have some different needs. So we just thought we'd check in with everybody to see if we're missing something or if something new has come up. Besides West Coast storms. And then I guess maybe, Rihanna, this would be a good point too, that we could bring up that the reason why Rihanna and we did the facilitating of the ECN retreat is we wanted to be able to have more funding for community stipends and try to get that out before the end of the fiscal year, the end of the calendar year, because of PDG funding, because ECN stipends are PDG funded.
Yeah.
So we're talking about that. So be on the lookout. There will be an opportunity to help with any of the emerging needs that need funding for an ECN stipend prior to the end of this year.
Yeah, that's thank you for that, Shannon. Yeah, so similar to what we did in the spring or the summer, May to June. Sorry, I was trying to think when we sent that out. We sent out ECN community stipends, and we did an interest survey. So for those who were interested in not applying, but who were interested in receiving a stipend, and then we had a $25,000 mark of money that we could divide up between the communities who are interested in that. And then from those communities who are interested, we were able to take those who actually said, yes, I'd like more than like this range. So we said like $1,400 to $1,700. And then each community could put what they were hoping for. And then if you were hoping for more, we were able to give more. Some communities said, yes, give me the full extra amount. Others said, no, I only need $1,500 for this project. So we'll be doing something again here soon. We actually have a meeting tomorrow or this week, Shannon and I, to get things going. And it'll just be that we need to get the money out to you all by the end of December. And then just hearing from you what your plans are to use those funds and how they'll directly impact the early childhood community wherever you are. So you'll be hearing about that soon. Probably within the next week or so, be getting a questionnaire about that.
Take advantage.
Yeah,
Take advantage.
exactly.
Okay. So here we go for upcoming events and opportunities. We've talked in the past about conferences, training, funding opportunities, bringing speakers in to talk on different things, doing some more just upfront instead of, I know we want to network and we can still network, but bringing, whether it's someone on policy, someone on philanthropy, finding funding for different things, and community engagement events. These are things that we would love to incorporate. I think the advisory council back in August talked about doing as well, incorporating into our monthly meetings. I do have an email. I just told this to Rianne out to, and I can't even say his name, Dan, who did the, I'm going to slaughter it. But anyway, I have an email out to really, I think would be an awesome speaker on policy for early childhood learning and care. If he will do it, we're hoping to have him in the next month or two, but just things like that. So just to let you know, if you have any ideas, we've gotten a lot out of your summer interviews, and we have all those ideas that we're working on, but anything new that has come up, maybe you came across another great speaker, let us know, a training, let us know, and we'll try to incorporate that into our agenda. So. Okay.
Community engagement events. Can I share a couple that are coming up? And I guess this is the time that would be, if you know of some, but these are some that I'm just gonna call out right now because they're right on the tip of my tongue and I'm also participating. So October 28th is Threads Economic Summit. Who's going to that? Is anybody going? Raise your hand in the chat. If you are, save me a seat at your table. I'm by myself and I'm looking at Bobby Joe and Shannon. Amy Simpson, are you going? Nikki, you're going? For real life? Oh, okay. All right. We need to have an ECN table. We're gonna find each other beforehand. Rita, you're going too? Yes. I thought I was gonna be like the only one hanging around, but now all these friends are going. Amy, are you going?
I'm not sure because I have a conflict, so I'm trying to move some things around, but as of right now, I won't be there, but I'm trying.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. You're a very busy lady, but if there's a time for peer pressure, this is the time that I'm gonna peer pressure Amy to come to. It's gonna be awesome. Oh, good. Crystal's coming too. This is gonna be like a really cool presentation. And I know that a lot of times, like, we are the choir in terms of the business community. Like, we want the business community to be there. And this is just an opportunity for us to learn how to speak more to the business community. If you know data junkies around you who love all the spreadsheets and data, this is a great place for them to come to. I was always saying, like, bring like your bestie who you've always wanted to have like a work day with, like, bring them to this conference. It's $50, $75, something like that. I'm trying to get a couple of my friends to come with me, whether they do it or not, I don't know, but I'm trying. So that's happening on the 28th. And then for those of you who are in like home visiting therapists, our the A2P2 Pediatric Symposium is coming up November 14th and 15th. This is typically a symposium for medical providers that are like, they get their continuing medical CMEs, continuing medical, what is it?
Education credits.
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah.
And so I thought I was going to be like, this is all going to be over my head, but it's a really incredible conference. And as a parent and somebody who works with early childhood in their community, like, it's a very informative 2-day conference. So that's happening on the 14th and 15th. Registration's on the A2P2 website. We also have our 30th anniversary birthday party the night of the 14th. And so even if you can't come to the conference, you should come to the birthday party. It's going to be fun. Those are in my community events that I wanted to share about. Anybody else have anything fun happening in their towns?
So I found the author that I found. So I have a friend who works at the state early childhood office in Montana. That's where I'm from. So I keep in touch. I always like to know what other states are doing. And they just had Dan Worry. He's the author of The Daycare Myth. He does a lot on early childhood policy solutions. And so I've reached out to him just to kind of see if he would be available for 1 hour to 1.5 hours. I'm hoping we could get him for the full time. He's looking at a schedule and given me a price because he is expensive. But he did comment, I did get an email from him, Rian, just a little bit ago, and I looked at it. And he's worried about West Coast Alaska. So he might, you never know.
Nice.
So yeah, so we'll try to get him if he has the availability. I gave him the dates for November 17th or December 15th. And I've read his book, and if you have read his book, it's really interesting. It's a good read. It's called The Daycare Myth.
That's awesome.
Okay. Here's our favorite time, which we kind of already did, but anybody have anything for open discussion?
This is Crystal. I'm wondering how we can find each other, those attending the Thread Summit. Like, do we want to be like, hey, let's meet in the back right corner, 5 minutes early so we could see if we could pick our own table? Do we want to shoot for
Yeah.
something like that so there's a plan?
If you are going to the retreat, just put your name, just like say something in the chat, like attending or not retreat, attending Thread Summit, and then maybe I send an email. We can send an email to those who are going, not to give everybody else FOMO or anything, but then everybody doesn't get spammed by us and feeling
Yeah.
sad.
Yeah, I
But
attended
great
a couple
idea,
years
Crystal.
ago, and I was like at a table by myself with other people, of course, but I didn't know anybody. So I would love to sit with ECN people. If you guys are there.
Heck yes, I want to hear about your trip. I'll be there. Perfect.
Okay. And then Amy, when you ever meet with somebody, whether from the municipality or whatever, let Rihanna and I know, because we'll look at what we have for ECN funding too. And
Okay, that would be great.
We'll get some word out. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So anybody else? It is, wow, we might give you some time back.
Wait, don't worry. Oh, hold on.
I'm gonna get to go to the bathroom before my next meeting.
I know, that's what I'm
Wow.
thinking too, Amy. Like, do you have time for like a quick something and then bathroom break? Go ahead, Rian.
Can you go to the next slide?
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to do this really quickly. Let's see. Travel reimbursements. If you are planning to send in your travel reimbursements for the ECN retreat, so that covers your flights to and from Anchorage and then your mileage, please send those in by October 31st at 12 p.m. Just because of the funding source, we have to be able to wrap those up by the end of this month. So please send those in. If you have questions or need me to resend you the documents for those, I'm happy to do that. And then Abby, right after this, go ahead and you can share as well. Presentation sharing request. I sent out an email. As Shannon mentioned, the PDG leadership team is hoping that they can share the community spotlight presentations that you all gave during the ECN retreat. If you are willing to let them use yours, please respond just to Shannon and I and just say, I give you permission to use my presentation. That would be wonderful. They're just really encouraged by all the wonderful work happening in our communities across the state.
And it's
Shannon,
not,
go ahead.
we won't use your full presentation. It's for our evaluators for PDG and for those one-page briefs that we are having professionally done, that you guys will be able to grab however many and share with what ECN is all about. And then of course, Bobby Joe's Innovation Grant recipients and sponsorships and all of that. So thank you very much for the help on that. Yeah.
And then those who got the ECN summer community stipends, thank you, Melanie. Please send that report by November 28th. When we have more information about the next community stipends, we will tell you guys about that. But those who have already used that funding for the first time, the first stipends, don't forget that your report, if you haven't sent it in already, is due by the 28th. Okay, that was everything. Abby.
Yeah, I just have a question of the group. We're working on provider training down here on the Kenai Peninsula and focused at the topic at hand is disaster and emergency kits, and then also like evacuation planning. So helping our providers do this. And one of the things that also came up was offering them like a resource list that they can have in a binder. So each provider will walk out of this training with a binder of all kinds of stuff. And one of those things would be a resource list, like who to contact, like essentially like, like your local natural gas, your energy companies, maybe the local ILP contact. And obviously these things might change over time, but just to give them kind of an understanding of who would be helpful in this business to include in that. So I'm just curious if anyone has done this or maybe if you're a childcare provider and you have this already, if you have any advice for us to create this, I'd be open to that. So just wanted to put that out there.
This is me. I don't want to keep talking. I'm looking at Amy has hers out too. I know back a couple years ago during COVID and past, we've had to do emergency. If you're in an agency, you have an emergency response policy, and we had to have kits and all of that. So we did them for the ILP program. I can see if I can hunt down you're going to have to update it. I can see what I have and send it out to the group or put it on Padlet. I don't know if you have anything, Amy, when you're thinking about pick and.
Yeah, there's always like 50 things floating around, right? So
there is. So we'll get something to you,
focus.
Abby, and then we'll put it out to the group so they have it as well.
Okay.
Thank you. Any examples would be helpful. We'll come up with something, but if I figured I'd ask the group so we're not completely recreating the wheel.
Yeah, love it.
I do think, just an FYI, I think the state does have something too. I'll send as well in the emergency response, because our conference room is the emergency response room for the state. And so the emergency response team might have something too. I'll check out with them and forward whatever they have to the group.
Yeah, I'll put our emergency response plan in the Padlet, and it's
awesome. That would be helpful. Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Thanks, Nikki.
Awesome. Okay. Well, thank you, everybody. The next meeting is November 17th already. Thinking of November, 12:30 to 2. We'll get the agenda out, but if for some reason we do have Dan, it's probably just going to be Dan, but we'll let you know ahead of time and we'll send his bio and stuff. So you're aware. If not, then we'll go a different direction. But I just too want to, as we end the meeting and we talk about all the things we've been doing and our stories, let's just continue our connections and all the things we're doing community-wise, especially I'm thinking about West Coast and those that are weathering that surge. So we'll just keep doing what we're doing and thinking outside the box. And if you need anything, just reach out to Rihanna or I. I'll try to put some resources on the Padlet if you need them for any of those West Coast storm peeps that we may have in your area, that if you ever get a question like where can they go for this, I can give you, you can go to Padlet and at least maybe find some resource on infant mental health or early childhood. So
Rianne or Shannon, could we add Rita to the email list?
Yes, sure thing.
Thank you.
I actually was just updating that today and had everybody from the retreat, my giant list, and I just didn't put it over. So I've got you on there now.
Yeah, and
Thank you.
I have to update to the map, Bailey. So thanks for that. So I'll add Rita to the map.
Thank you.
And if anybody new, I'll add Amy. I have to add
you.
Amy and Neve and Heidi Haas. And we have Nick. I need to add a few more to the map. So
perfect. Thank you all. Take good care of yourselves.
For everyone, thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
everybody.
you.
Thank you. Bye.